Most people think bodyguards are paid to fight. They're wrong. The best bodyguards are paid to prevent fights from ever happening. You're 24 years old when you receive an offer that changes your life. Former military. Excellent fitness scores. Clean background. That's why a private security firm calls you unexpectedly. The job description is vague. Extremely vague. High net worth client. International travel. Confidential responsibilities. Salary, $450,000 per year. You think there's a typo. There isn't. 3 weeks later, you find yourself inside a private skyscraper office overlooking an entire city. That's where you meet your future employer. Billionaire Adrian Wolf. Tech founder. Media icon. One of the richest men alive. Publicly, he's admired. Privately, you quickly realize he's terrified. Not of bankruptcy. Not of competitors. Not of failure. He's afraid of people. Because extreme wealth creates extreme enemies. Kidnappers. Stalkers. Extortionists. Obsessive fans. Corporate rivals. People who believe billionaires owe them something. People who want revenge. Your job isn't protecting a billionaire. Your job is protecting a target. And targets never relax. Neither do their bodyguards. Level 2. At first, the lifestyle feels incredible. Private jets. Luxury hotels. 5-star restaurants. Exclusive events. The world suddenly looks beautiful. Until you realize something. You're not experiencing luxury. You're guarding it. While everyone else enjoys the party, you're watching exits. Watching hands. Watching faces. Watching threats. One evening during a billionaire charity gala, everyone is smiling. Laughing. Taking photographs. But your attention locks onto a single man standing near a wall. He's watching Adrian. Not the event. Not the stage. Just Adrian. For 20 minutes. Without moving. Your instincts activate immediately. Security quietly approaches. The man is removed. No incident occurs. Nobody notices. Except you. That's when you understand. The safest environments often contain the most hidden danger. And danger only needs one opportunity. You need to be perfect every time. The threat only needs to succeed once. Level 3. By age 28, Adrian trusts you completely. That's dangerous, because now you see things nobody else sees. Private meetings. Business negotiations. Family arguments. Hidden fears. You discover something shocking. Billionaires are not emotionally different from everyone else. They're just wealthier versions of ordinary people. Same insecurities. Same loneliness. Same fears. Just surrounded by more expensive walls. One night during a private flight over the Atlantic Ocean, Adrian unexpectedly asks you, "Do you know how many people genuinely care about me?" You stay silent. He laughs. Not because it's funny. Because he already knows the answer. Very few. Money attracts people. Trust does not. That moment changes how you view the job. You're no longer protecting a billionaire. You're protecting a human being trapped inside unimaginable wealth. Level 4. At 30, everything changes. An anonymous threat appears online. At first nobody takes it seriously. The internet is full of threats. Most are meaningless. This one isn't. Because the sender knows details. Private details. Travel routes. Security procedures. Family information. Information nobody should possess. Suddenly your entire team enters crisis mode. Schedules change. Vehicles change. Locations change. Every routine disappears overnight. For weeks, nobody sleeps properly. You begin checking mirrors constantly. Scanning rooftops. Analyzing every stranger. Hypervigilance becomes your personality. Then one afternoon, while Adrian exits a conference building, you notice movement. Fast movement. Someone rushing through the crowd. Everything slows down. Training takes over. You move instantly. Security tackles the individual. Chaos erupts. Cameras flash. People scream. Fortunately, the person is unarmed. Just an obsessed fan. But that night you can't sleep. Because next time, it might not be. Level 5. At 33, you've spent nearly a decade protecting one of the richest people on Earth. And it's changing you. Relationships fail. Birthdays are missed. Vacations disappear. Friends stop inviting you places. Because you're never available. Always working. Always traveling. Always watching. Your life exists in permanent readiness. One evening your younger brother asks a simple question: when was the last time you relaxed? You genuinely don't know. That realization hits harder than any threat ever could. Because bodyguards sacrifice something quietly. Not safety. Normality. You begin realizing you've spent years preparing for disasters that never happened. And somehow, that preparation became your entire identity. Level 6. Then comes the day every bodyguard fears. A credible assassination threat. Not rumors. Not online posts. Real intelligence. Real planning. Real danger. Law enforcement becomes involved. Security doubles immediately. Every route is classified. Every movement becomes unpredictable. For weeks, Adrian essentially disappears from public life. The pressure becomes overwhelming. One mistake could change history. One missed detail. One overlooked warning. 1 second of distraction. You start sleeping with your phone beside your bed. Fully dressed. Ready to move at any moment. The stress becomes exhausting. But quitting isn't an option. Because when responsibility reaches this level, walking away feels impossible. Final level. At 37, the moment finally arrives. The moment you've spent 13 years preparing for. A public appearance. Thousands of spectators. Media everywhere. Security everywhere. Everything appears normal. Then you hear it. A sound. Sharp. Wrong. Instantly every instinct activates. You move without thinking. Without hesitation. Without fear. Because training happens faster than thought. The crowd erupts into chaos. Security floods the area. People run. People scream. And for several terrifying seconds, nobody knows what happened. Fortunately, it wasn't an assassination. A nearby object collapsed unexpectedly. The noise triggered panic. No attack. No shooter. No catastrophe. Just a false alarm. Yet afterward, sitting alone in a quiet hotel room, you begin laughing. Not because it's funny. Because you finally understand something. For 13 years, you've lived inside a state of permanent emergency. Always expecting disaster. Always preparing for the worst. And somehow, the anticipation became heavier than the danger itself. Years later, when you eventually retire, people ask what it was like protecting a billionaire. They expect stories about private jets, luxury hotels, famous celebrities, power, money, influence. But that's not what you remember. What you remember is standing between uncertainty and another human being. Every single day. Because the truth about being a billionaire's bodyguard is simple: the richest person in the room isn't the one carrying the greatest burden. The person responsible for keeping them alive is